There is a quiet feeling many people live with for years, a sense that life is moving forward, but something essential is not being lived. They work, they plan, they stay busy, they function normally. But deep down, there is another life that keeps appearing in thought, yet never fully entered. A life where they create something meaningful. A life where they stop delaying important changes. A life where they feel more aligned with themselves. American author Steven Pressfield calls this force resistance. In his book, The War of Art, resistance is described as an invisible force that appears whenever a person moves towards something meaningful. Not random goals, but meaningful ones. The things that actually matter to you. And the more meaningful something is, the stronger resistance tends to feel. Resistance does not usually appear as something dramatic. It feels subtle, reasonable, almost harmless. It sounds like, "I'm not ready yet. I need more time. I should prepare more. I'll start later when I feel better." And because it sounds reasonable, people often believe it. So instead of acting, they delay, they wait, they prepare endlessly. Pressfield makes an important distinction between the amateur and the professional. The amateur lives in fluctuation. He waits for motivation. He works only when inspired. He avoids discomfort whenever possible. The professional behaves differently. He shows up regardless of mood. He acts even when resistance is strong. He treats his work as something serious. This does not mean the professional feels no fear. It means he no longer negotiates with it. One of the most important ideas in Pressfield's work is this. People do not resist meaningless things. They resist meaningful things. Because meaningful action brings exposure. Once you begin, you are no longer in imagination. You are in reality. And reality introduces uncertainty. It introduces imperfection. It introduces risk. And for many people, that feels more threatening than staying in possibility. There is a hidden comfort in never fully beginning something, because as long as something remains unstarted, it remains perfect, untouched, unlimited. A person can still imagine their best possible version of it. They can still believe, "I could do this someday." But the moment action begins, imagination is replaced by reality. And this is where resistance becomes strongest, not at the idea stage, but at the action stage. Swiss psychiatrist and psychoanalyst Carl Jung helped explain something important about human behavior. Much of what we avoid is not random. It is connected to unconscious fears, emotions, and internal conflicts. In other words, we do not only avoid tasks, we avoid what those tasks represent internally. Change, exposure, responsibility, a new version of ourselves. There is another subtle layer here. People often become attached not to reality, but to potential. Because potential feels clean, unfailed, emotionally safe. As long as something stays in imagination, it can remain perfect. But reality always introduces limitation, effort, frustration, feedback, imperfection. When people repeatedly avoid what they know matters, something slowly changes. They begin to trust their intentions less. Because they keep experiencing the same pattern. I want to do it, but I don't. And over time, this creates an internal gap between knowing and doing, between intention and action. At a deeper level, resistance is not just an obstacle, it is the psychological threshold between imagination and reality. It appears exactly at the point where life begins to become real. And that is why it feels so strong, because it stands right at the edge of transformation. Overcoming resistance does not begin with becoming fearless. It begins with becoming honest enough to stop waiting for the perfect moment. Because clarity is rarely something you have before starting. It is something that develops through starting. Action does not follow clarity. Clarity follows action. Maybe it appears exactly where your real life begins. And the life you keep avoiding is not gone. It is simply waiting on the other side of beginning.